Come on, baby, don't you wanna go? Well, come on, baby, don't you wanna go back to that same old place, sweet home, Chicago? Hey guys, I'm Kevin. Welcome. Today we're going to talk about one of my favorite songs, Sweet Home Chicago. Being from Chicago, it's like one of those songs you just kind of have to know if you're from here. And if you have the Chicago accent, you know, you can always incorporate that one in too. This one was by the Blues Brothers, originally done by Robert Johnson, and follows the form of the 12-bar blues, which we talked about last week. So today we're going to apply the 12-bar blues to this song, do it in a different key, and spend some time learning the strumming, the chords, and showing you how to do the walk down, the turnaround, and some of the other cool elements that the blues brings. So get tuned up and let's get started. All right, let's jump into the strumming pattern here. So the strumming pattern that we're going to apply to this is a form of the island strum. So the island strum, and I'm just going to be holding an E7 chord here, because we're going to do this in the key of E. So our first chord of the song is going to be E7, which is index, middle, and ring here on the first two frets. The strumming pattern for the island strum is down, down, up, up, down, up. So you would count that 1, 2, and 4, and. If you want to do a simplified version of this strum throughout this whole song, you can definitely do the island strum. But to make this feel a little bit more bluesy, I've incorporated a couple of mutes into the strumming pattern. So rather than just doing down, down, up, down, up, I'm going to play down, mute, up, and then up, mute, mute. So I'm just substituting mutes on the second down strum. So it's down, mute, up, and then go strum, up, mute, mute. Let's try to play that nice and slow, and I'll say the pattern as we do it, so I just wanted to kind of give you guys a good feel for this. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Down, mute, up, mute, mute. 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 So that's the pattern we'll use throughout the song, and when you play that a little faster, it sounds like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, down. So I would suggest spending a little bit of time just kind of working on the pattern here. The song tempo is around 126 beats per minute. So if you're working with a metronome on the island strum and want to kind of practice this a little bit before you get into this, I would suggest that's a good idea. Now let's take a look at the chords that we'll use. So we are in the key of E. So when you're in the key of E, the first chord that you play in the blues is the E7, as I mentioned earlier. So our first chord here today will be index on the G string, middle on the C string, 2nd fret, and then ring finger on the 2nd fret on the A string. And then our index again is on the G string on the 1st fret. So that should sound like this. The second chord we'll use is an A7, nice and easy, just our index finger here on the C string on the 1st fret. And that is our 4 chord. So it's the 4th chord in the key. E, F, G, A is our 4th chord. And then we're going to use the 5 chord of the key, which is B. And because we're playing a blues here, we're going to be using a B7 chord. So to play the B7 chord, I'm barring the 2nd fret with my index finger, and I'm using my thumb right behind my index finger to really get that good pinch, because you want to make sure that all of these strings are compressed down nice and evenly. You want all of them to ring. And then in addition to that, we're going to put our middle finger here on the C string on the 3rd fret. So when you play that all together, it sounds like this. And And those are the only 3 chords that we need. I will mention we are going to do a walk down in the pattern. So one other chord that you want to take a look at here is just the B flat 7. So all we do to play the B flat 7 is we're going to slide down this B7 shape to the 1st fret. And we're only going to be using 1 strum on that, and I'll talk about that as we kind of get into the A section here. So the 3 chords you need are the 1, the 4, and the 5 chord, E7, A7, and B7. So get acclimated with those chords, spend a little time with the strumming pattern, and now let's take a look at the tune. So the cool thing about Sweet Home Chicago and many other blues songs is they follow a formula. So the formula for this tune is the 12-bar blues. I have a full tutorial explaining all of the ins and outs of the 12-bar blues. I will leave that in the description, so you can check that out if you want to learn more about the 12-bar blues. I think it'd be super helpful to check out that video, kind of in the same realm as this, as you're learning this tune. So we're going to break this down into 2 sections, the A section and the B section. Now, there's only one slight little difference in the B section. Everything is going to follow this 12-bar blues formula. So if you look below me right now, you'll see the layout of the chords for the 12-bar blues. So rather than kind of going chord by chord, we're just going to play this together, and you'll kind of see the chords highlighted below as we go through them. So every time you play a chord here, a bar means that we're going to use a 4 count. So if I were to play the first bar of the 12-bar blues, I would just simply play the E7 chord, 1, 2, 3, 4, or with the strumming pattern, 1, 2, 3, 4. So either way, every time that I play 1 time through a chord, that equals 1 bar. So every section is going to have 12 bars. So let's just take a look at this section now, and we'll play through it nice and slow here with the strumming pattern. So if you feel more comfortable with the island strum, feel free to do that. I'm going to use the muted strum that we talked about earlier in the video. So just follow along here, nice and slow. Feel free to rewind this and do this a few times with me just to kind of get acclimated. Once you get it down though, the cool thing is you'll be able to use it throughout the entire song. So let's start here with our E7 chord, and here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 4. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. All right, so that's the form that we're going to use throughout the tune. Now, there were a couple little things there that I want to talk about in the end of the progression. So something that you can do is called a walk down. And again, this is explained in the 12-bar video. But something that I'm going to do here as we do the kind of play along version of this is I'm going to do a little walk down from the B7 to the A7. And that's why I mentioned the B flat 7 chord a little earlier here. So what you'll do here, rather than playing the strumming pattern 1 time on B7 and 1 time on A7, we're going to do a passing chord, which is the B flat 7. So it would sound like this. So basically, I'm doing the strumming pattern, and on the last up strum, I'm playing the B flat 7 and sliding down to the A7 and doing the full strumming pattern. So you'll try to catch that when we play it through together again. And the other thing to mention here is the turnaround. Turnaround and walk down are 2 terms that you'll always hear referenced when you're talking about the blues. So the turnaround happens in the last 2 bars of the 12-bar blues. So when we get to our E7 the last time here, I'm going to kind of dress this up a little bit to make it sound a little cooler, to kind of lead us back into the beginning of the 12-bar form. So what I put together here, and you'll hear me doing this in the video, is going from E7 to A7, and then E7 to B7. So the little strumming nuance that I'm going to add in here for you is when we get to the turnaround, I'm going to play down, up, mute, mute on the E7, and then A7, down, up, mute, mute. And then when I get back to E7, it's down, up, mute. And then when I finish on the B7, it's just an up strum. So let me play that for you so you can kind of hear that. So I'm going to go down, up, mute, mute, down, up, mute, mute, down, up, mute, up. So if that were more in time, it would sound like this. Down, up, mute, mute, down, up, mute, mute, down, up, mute, up. One more time. Down, up, mute, mute, down, up, mute, mute, down, up, mute, up. So that's a little nuance you're welcome to add, and when we're playing this together, if you want to try that, feel free. If you feel like that's a little too much for you right now, you can just do the standard form that we talked about before. So I think adding the walk down and the turnaround kind of really make the blues feel like the blues. So those are a couple components that I'd really work on within the structure of the 12-bar blues, because you only have to learn 3 chords here, so why not learn how to do some of the cool little nuances. So now let's take a look at the B section. So the only difference here that we'll talk about in the B section is, and when you get to the lyric, 1 and 1 is 2, 6 and 2 is 8, we're going to just do 1 strum stops and just do a 4 count through the bar. So rather than doing the pattern of down, mute, up, mute, mute, we're just going to do a single down strum and a 4 count. So at the beginning of the B section, when we get ready for that, we'll just hit 1 and 1 is 2, 2 and 2 is 8, 2 and 6 is 8. So that's the only little thing you have to look out for in the B section. Everything else will be the same as the A section. I just kind of wanted to differentiate those two so that you knew when they were coming. So the only difference is 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, rather than doing the strum there. All right, let's spend some time playing this one together now. So we're just going to play through the A and the B section without the lyrics. I'll kind of cue you when the walk down and the turnaround are coming, and we're going to use the strumming pattern for this. So try to count in your head if you can, 1, 2, 3, 4 for every bar, and that will kind of give you a gauge of where you are in the tune, but you can also follow along on the graphic below. So here we go. I'll count us in. We'll start on the E7, the 1 chord. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, E, A7, E7. Now back to A7. 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, E7. Going to the walk down. 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 2, 3. Turn around. To the B section. 2, 3, 4, A, 2, 3, 4, E7. E7, back to A7, back to your 1 chord, the E7. Here comes the walk down again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Turn around. Cool. So those are the A and B sections together, kind of just for an example there to play along with. Now let's try the same thing with the lyrics so you can kind of see how this all lays out. All right, here we go with the lyrics. We're going to follow the exact same form, but then you can kind of feel how this actually will go with the tune. So here we go with a 4 count. 1, 2, 3, come on. Baby, don't you want to go? Well, come on. Baby, don't you want to go? Going to the walk down. Back to that same old place. Sweet home, Chicago. 1 and 1 is 2, 6 and 2 is 8. Come on, baby, don't make me late. Howdy, hi. turn around, no, walk down, same old place, sweet home Chicago. Well, I hope you guys had fun learning Sweet Home Chicago. If you like the blues, stay tuned because we have more blues coming out soon. And if you like this lesson, the 12-bar blues video is linked in the description. You can really get into it and learn about all of the nuances of the blues. In addition, we also have a full play-along coming at you, which I will also leave in the description. We'll go through the full tune here, singing and playing, if you just want to get right to the bare essentials of the tune. Make sure, if you like this video, you're subscribed to the channel so you know when the next videos are coming out. Comment below, let me know, what are some of your favorite blues tunes? If you know any songs that are in the 12-bar blues, I'd love to hear from you. I'm always looking to learn about new tunes that maybe I haven't been exposed to. My name's Kevin. I thank you so much for watching today. Don't forget to go to allforuke.com where I have a PDF laid out for this entire song. You can check out the song sheet, print it out, spend some time with it. You can get that at allforuke.com. I'll see you next time, guys. Thanks so much for watching. Take care.
This sunny day